I have to say, I love the cruising lifestyle. If that's what I was going to be doing during retirement, I would retire happy. Ranger Tugs makes an ideal line of boats for cruising couples to do things like the Great Loop, island hopping, things along those lines. And this is an ideal boat for doing it. It's the R-31CB Command Bridge. Come on aboard and let's take a look at some of the comfort features that we found on this boat. There's nice high freeboard at the bow from the rub rail to the waterline, 3 feet 9 inches. Notice that we've got one chine, another chine giving us a bit of a spray rail, and then another one giving us more of a spray rail. So it'll be a nice dry ride. We've got both a bow and a stern thruster. Now all of these features combined with the single keel give this boat remarkable stability. The Ranger Tugs R-31CB has a length overall of 34 feet 10 inches, a beam of 10 feet, and a draft of 30 inches. Her dry weight comes in at 12,500 pounds. Now, I haven't yet tested the 31CB, but Ranger Tugs has, and reports that with the single 320 horsepower Volvo Penta D4 run up to a max 3650 RPM, her speed topped out at 20.6 knots. She doesn't really have a best cruise as the range increases linearly as the speed is brought back. At planing speed of 15.5 knots, she'll burn 10 gallons per hour even for a range of just over 251 nautical miles. And at a displacement speed of 8.2 knots, she'll keep going for 359.4 nautical miles. So this makes an outstanding cruising couples yacht. Now, let's take a look at her features. This aft deck, great place for gathering, probably going to be the most popular place while the boat is either underway or at rest. 6 feet 6 inches to the overhead that's protecting this whole area, and notice that we've got 1, 2, 3 opening hatches providing ventilation. That's in case we want to enclose this whole area in isinglass. There's a bench seat across the transom, and this measures in at 41 inches, the table in front of it, 46 inches by 24 inches, and notice that it's just got an oil finish to it. It's not varnished, which means it's going to be low maintenance and easy to take care of. It's on 2 pedestals that are fixed. It's not a high-low. I like that. The bulwarks to the side are giving us a safety factor of 28 inches. 24 is the standard, so good safety going on here, and I like that the stanchions holding up this support are nice and beefy. I mean, we're talking 1.5 inches, so good solid feel there, and we've got rails going around the back as well. Once we're at rest, or actually even operating in calm seas, we can expand the seating capabilities of this area by bringing out this seat, flipping up that bolster right there, and now we've got expanded gathering to the cockpit deck, and this is also repeated to the opposite side. To the sides of the aft bench seat are 2 shore power connections, 30 amp each. When it comes time for entertaining, well, it starts with cockpit refrigerator, and then directly across to the starboard side, there's a single basin stainless steel sink, freshwater spigot, beverage holder, and I like that there's always something to grab onto while we're underway. This is a boat that's made to be underway and not sitting at the dock. Just under the sink, some operational features with your 4 battery switches. The swim platform comes out 3 feet. There are staple rails to the sides, gate that opens and closes with just a clip latch. Some fenders are to the back end so that we can back right up to a dock. And notice we've got sort of a dock box here, and what's inside of it, cleverly enough, propane tanks and some extra fuel for perhaps your dinghy. And because we have these propane tanks, we'll also have a propane stove and cooktop. We'll take a look at that when we get inside. Now let's continue with our exterior gathering areas where we can go up to the command bridge. Now this is the 31CB, which means command bridge. So up in the flying bridge, we have a whole nother entertainment and functional area. The entertainment starts with a pedestal table in between 2 seats that are booth style seating. So we've got 1 set facing forward, 1 set facing aft. These also have flip backrests so they can lay down, and we can cover this whole area quite easily. Now notice that we've got hatches giving us light to the salon down below. These are strong enough to stand on, dance on, jump up and down on. fully forward, our control station includes a bench seat, control for this single 320 horsepower Volvo Penta D4, bow and stern thrusters, 12-inch display, compass directly in line with the center-mounted helm, electrical switches, autopilot, because we're going to be cruising a long distance on this boat, which is going to likely be done on autopilot, your engine start stops, VHF from ICOM. Beverage holders are to both sides of the console. And notice that we've got a small windscreen. All of this is under the protection of the bimini top. Further up above, Garmin radar. This one is also equipped with a track vision. Just behind, solar panels on the hardtop to the cockpit deck. And at the bow, there's one more gathering area where we have a bench seat 35 inches across. That's in front of a pedestal table that is on a fixed pedestal. And of course, during inclement weather, when you're underway, you're going to want to bring this seat down because in the up position, it pretty much blocks the view from the pilot house inside. Looking at the ground tackle, there's a windlass from Lumar. A cleat just behind can take the load off of the windlass. Access to the road storage is right alongside, so we've got a chain and rope road. Full control switches are right alongside. Rail height at the working end of the bow here, 27 inches. Now let's move our features inspection to the interior. Inside the Salon, we're seeing Ranger's clever use of space and the way that everything is transformable. They really do a good job. It starts with 6 feet 6 inches of overhead clearance, and notice that we've got upholstery to the overhead along with the teak strips and nice woodwork going along the sides, giving it a really yachty look to it. Now, take a look at this dinette area here. First of all, I mean, extremely comfortable. The table is expandable. We've got a seat here facing the table, and it's also reversible. We bring this down, bring the seat back up, and now we have an elevated seat looking forward next to the operator station. And this is pretty much at the same height as the captain will enjoy, being 41 inches off of the deck. And while we're in this position, there's a flip-up table. So this makes an excellent spot for keyboarding. And it's double wide at 37 inches. So nice having extra eyes looking forward. The table is on a pedestal. It's a high-low, so we can lower this, turn it into a berth. This seat over here is also a recliner. Notice that we've got this seat back here. Now, because we can turn this area into a berth, obviously we've got curtains on all the windows so we can have privacy going all around. And these windows are opening, plus we have opening port lights, so plenty of ventilation going on in here. And look at the nice classy job they did with the grab rail on the table support, beverage holders, and look at the nice light fixtures. Directly across is the galley area, plenty of Corian counter space, raised fiddle to keep everything in line. We've got a single basin stainless steel sink with a pull-out sprayer. I'm happy to see that. And now, we showed you the propane tanks earlier. Well, here's the propane cooktop with fiddles to hold everything in place. And we've even got an oven with the bottom that slides out of the way, so it still gives us walk room to get past it. It's also nice how they've taken just a simple shelf and added a rail to it, and now you've got creative storage. Same with these shelves as we move forward, just creative uses of space all through this boat. And speaking of which, gets even more creative when we're not underway. Bring this seat up, and now we increase our usable counter space. And just underneath, another refrigerator in addition to the one that we saw in the cockpit. And under the seats, we've got a microwave, and what would a cruising yacht be without a wine chiller? The helm is starboard side mounted. I love that there's a door that allows me to get out to the side deck and the midship cleat. Easy for handling lines when you're single-handed or short-handed. And since this is a couples cruising boat, that's an ideal scenario. The panel, populated with a 16-inch display. There's a Volvo Penta display, Garmin autopilot, windlass control, Your electrical switches are over to the right-hand side, ICOM VHF over to the left-hand side. Beautiful finish on this wood steering wheel, and it's vertically mounted. Little padded surface up on top. I like that. Gives us a little shade for the controls underneath to keep the glare down. Beverage holder up here, and interestingly enough, the compass is mounted outside of the windshield. Over to the right-hand side of the seat, we have our digital engine control, the joysticks for the bow and stern thruster, and our trim tabs. Now let's take a look at the accommodations. We'll start with the master all the way forward. This starts with an island berth that's mounted at an angle, which gives us walk-around capability to both sides. Measures in at 77 inches by 71 inches side to side at its widest point. Headroom in this location, 6 feet 2 inches, which gives us 2 feet 10 inches over the berth. To the starboard side, it's flat screen TV. Padded bolster going all the way around, and notice that there's storage above the bolster thanks to just adding a little bit of shelf space with some nice wood trim. And then we've got an ensuite with an electric flush toilet, Corian counter, a glass vessel sink, storage underneath. There's storage just above in the form of another wood shelf with a rail, mirror just above, and an opening port light for ventilation. Notice that there are towel racks at the back of the door. And of course, this is a wet head. Guests are accommodated with another stateroom. This one's got a good sized berth. There's shelf storage just above, and notice that it's got connectivity. Plenty of light, opening port lights. There's also a separate toilet in this location, right at the seat here, which means it serves also as a day head, giving the master some privacy to the ensuite. I absolutely love the cruising lifestyle, and Ranger Tug seems to do such a good job of making that task so much more enjoyable and comfortable. I mean, this boat is 31 feet, well, 34, 35 with the swim platform, but it's a 31 footer, and look at how much they have put into this. And I don't want to say crammed into it, because none of it is crammed in. There's so much room to move around because everything is so convertible on this boat. Very clever thinking, very interesting out-of-the-box thinking. More to the point, though, is the dealers that sell Ranger Tugs all stand by their product. In fact, this one in Massachusetts won the 2023 Top Service Award. So once you buy a Ranger Tug, you're part of the family, and they stand behind the product. And that's my full inspection of the Ranger Tugs 31CB. I'm Captain Steve, and we'll see you on the water. Sorry, Ranger Tug, what model is it? 3 feet 9 inches. Notice that we've got one chine, another chine giving us a bit of a spray rail, and then another one giving us more of a spray.
Go ahead.
Underneath the sink, a little bit of operational features with the house battery switch, engine, thruster, and the thruster generator. There's no such thing as a thruster generator. Across the starboard is the galley, and a lot of clever use of space going on here. And now, we showed you the propane tanks earlier. Well, here's the propane cooktop with fiddles to hold everything in place, and we've even got